Oh, you just heard me sniff then, didn't you? How rude! You heard that, didn't you? You heard this, didn't you? There's lots of strange noises that happen before I start the programme. Oh, believe me, there's a little button here which I can sniff, watch. And you can't hear it. Except I hit it a little bit too quickly before we started. But never mind. I hope that didn't disrupt your breakfast this morning. Good morning to you. It's Monday, the 10th of June, 2019. Welcome along to Bracknell, Royal Berkshire. And this morning's United Kingdom talk coming to you live from our television studio complex here in the centre of the blooming universe. It really is. I'm very fit today. I've been doing lots of cycling this weekend. Not cycling as in going out specifically to cycle, but instead of taking the car to the shops or wherever, to the bank or even to church, then I've been cycling instead. Which I haven't been doing because I get a bit of a problem with one of my knees, the left-hand side knee. But I've been putting Maureen's Magic Gel on the knee at the slightest thing of pain, and it does seem to have helped a little bit. So I've been doing lots of cycling this weekend to the bank, to the shops and church, and each one of those is about 25 minutes each way. It's 25 minutes, 25 minutes, 25 minutes. That's not too bad, is it? Because you've got to find some other exercise. I'm leaving the swimming pool, the one I belong to up at the Hilton Hotel, soon. I've cancelled my contract there because unfortunately it's become more and more difficult to go on the times that I'm able to go. Saturday is really tight for time. Saturday, I find myself struggling for time on a Saturday. And then, because what happens is I get up Saturday, I haven't had time to do a show at all this weekend, and I was doing a show, then I'd rush down to the shops, then I'd go swimming, and then my mate would come round, and it's all, it's a bit too much, really. And then Sunday, if I'm playing the organ, which I was yesterday at church, then I don't have time for a show in the morning, and it kind of, do you know what I mean? And then Monday, I was kind of just about getting it all together, but Mondays, they've now thrown in an extra water aerobics program for people, because the one that they had was getting really, really busy. So as a trial, they've now given it a second one, but that means it's kind of thrown me right out, because the second one doesn't finish till about 11:30. Now, on a Monday, I like to try and get to bed about 2 o'clock in the afternoon for a couple of hours before I go to work, you see. So it's kind of means that I can't go on a Monday. And if you're paying 46 quid a month and then you can only go maybe 2 times a week, it's just not worth it anymore. But I joined the swimming pool up in Lincolnshire, in Boston, which I should be attending 3 or 4 times a week, hopefully. Well, very good morning to you. Who's with us this morning? Shall we have a quick look? Or shall I start talking? Let's have a quick look who's with us this morning. Morning to, we're starting YouTube this morning. Morning on Claire. Good morning. Morning, lovely Claire. Good morning to you. Joanna is there, waiting for me to sing, aren't you, Joanna? Let's sing together. Let's sing together. What do you want? Vera Lynn? We'll meet again. I wonder if she can still sing, Vera Lynn. She's over 100 now, isn't she, Vera Lynn? Don't know where, don't know. She was the Force's sweetheart before I came along. Yeah, it's true, I know. Now, people in the army, the Navy, the Marines, anyone who's anything to do with as the Americans say it, the military. What do? I'm in the military. Anything to do. Even the American boys have me as a pin-up in most of their lockers. It's true, yes. Yeah, Vera Lynn was before me. She used to be the pin-up, and then I came along. It did make me laugh. Sad old Madonna, she wanted to be that. No, they weren't interested. Britney Spears, she practically gave her photos away at some point. No, you go into any army person here in the UK, and you open their little locker door, and there's a picture of me beaming at them, just like this. It's a nice thought, isn't it? Some of them have got little pictures of me next to them on their little, on their bedside cabinets and things like that. And in America as well. In America as well, it's exactly the same. I am an army pin-up here in the UK. There's a thing you didn't know, isn't it? Good morning to... Good morning to Mr. John Parrish. Good morning. Yes, my sister and all that are in Cyprus at the moment, having a lovely time. Thank you for asking. Paul and Lou. Good morning to Paul and Lou. All these people are on YouTube. Let's have a look. You're chatting to each other there. Okay. All right. Over on Facebook Live. Good morning to Mark Jones. Morning, Mark. Mike Reese Ponto. Good morning to you. Grant's there. Good morning, Grant. In Greenwich. Posh part of the capital, that. Greenwich. There were some wonderfully coloured flats there, all by, you can see, sort of from the car park in the O2. You know, none of these grey, boring flats anymore. All multicoloured flats. Very pretty. Good morning, Grant. Morning to Ray Reynolds, who's coming along to the karaoke tonight. Good morning, Ray. Adrian Richardson is in the house. Diane Jebb. Good morning, Diane. Dave Moses is there. Hello, Dave. He runs a Hebden Radio, which is a radio station. Yes, he runs. Yes, oh, yes, dear. All the important people watch this programme for tips. They watch it for tips. Yep. All the big people on Talk Radio and LBC. At this moment, James O'Brien is watching this interesting programme. I keep telling James O'Brien on LBC to try and sound a little bit happier in his life, because he always sounds like a miserable old sod, doesn't he? Not my sort of listening, I'm afraid. Dave says, Core Blimey, I used to get one of those buses on the opening video, was it? Yes. Number 26 to get into Reading Town Centre. Takes me back. They used to be pink. I'm so glad they changed the colour. No, I'm not, David. I mean, the fact that they changed the buses from pink to yellow, I think that's a homophobic thing. I'm sorry, dear, and I'm going to have to speak to all my left-wing friends about arranging a group on Facebook to turn those buses back to pink. It's outrageous. Homophobic bus company, that's what they are. How dare they change the buses from pink to yellow? It's not on. It really isn't. Morning to Robert Dexter. Robert Dexter. Sorry, Robert. Good morning, Robert. George Ramsey, I'm so pleased your swimming pool is finished. George works at a hotel and has been sending updates of this pool they're building outside. It looks like it's all finished now. Morning, George. He says, good morning, my mucker from another glorious sunny morning in Benidorm. Oh, not here. Not here. It's raining. It's not particularly heavy, but it's raining outside. I'm quite pleased because I have taken advantage of the rain that what has been forecast. They were talking about like 25 centimetres, weren't they? And I watched the news this morning. Very disappointed with the weather this morning. No Carol Kirkwood. Some other blonde thing on there. Where's Carol? Bring back Carol, please. We want Carol. When she does the weather, it's always bright and shiny. Not this morning. Some young thing with blonde hair. No. Can we have Carol Kirkwood, please? Dear me. Anyway, so there's a map of the UK. And there's a great big area shaded in grey to probably, I don't know, to make you think of the severity of the situation. A big grey area. Over like that, and that area covers London, part of the South East, and exactly where I'm going. That whole area, including the road that I travel up later tomorrow morning. It'll probably be finished by then anyway. And it says up to 25 millimetres of rain, 15, 25 like that, something like that. You see, the trouble is the caravan I have up north, that's very near a river, and I do have visions of myself floating away. But don't worry, I shall try and carry on doing my show from up there as long as is physically possible. Don't worry, I won't let you lose out. Morning to Michael Lawrence. Good morning, Michael. Let's have a look there. Robert Dexter, your panorama looks very Teletubbies. Could be the spliff I just had. Wake, bake it. I look very Teletubbies. I hope you're not saying it looks like I've put on weight. How rude are you, dear? You people that get blocked for things like that, you know. People do get blocked for things like that. Adrian says, Vera Lynn's neighbours complain about her records being played throughout the night of her saying it happened a couple of years ago. We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when. but I know where me. Oh, go on, Joanna. You know you love it. Joanna pretends that she doesn't like my singing, don't you, my dear? Good morning to Gary Davidson. Joe. Good morning to Joe, who's in Austin, in Texas. He pops up now and again. Hope you're well, Joe. Nice to see you, sir. Mike, I'm an international superstar. You know that, Mike. I don't have to tell you that. You know that already. We know that already. Hello to Michael Pullman. Australia Dave says I'd make an excellent weather presenter. Umbrellas? Ooh dear. Umbrella, umbrella, umbrella. That's Rihanna. Perhaps I could do it like Rihanna. I could do the weather forecast like Rihanna appears in concert, walking on in just a pair of frilly knickers and a bra. Do you think that would go down well with the breakfast viewers? Carol Kirkwood could do it like that. She could dress like Rihanna when she's doing the weather. We love Carol. We love Carol. Morning to Maureen, joining us on the text service this morning, who enjoyed the video of me playing the organ at church yesterday. There's a couple of disasters yesterday. Disasters which I must tell you about shortly. All right. Some programmes I've been watching on the telly this morning. There's lots of good stuff on the telly. And even better than that, you don't have to pay for it. It's all on the BBC iPlayer Colour. All this stuff, and all this stuff is on BBC One, actually. There's been some really good stuff on there, and once it's gone, it stays on the iPlayer. I'm not quite sure why some stuff stays on there for like 7 days. Some stuff stays on there for 28 days. And some stuff on there is like 3 years old. So I don't know how that works out. It must be something to do with different copyright rules, perhaps, or agreements with various people and organisations. But things to watch. Gentleman Jack, I've mentioned quite a few times before now, is an excellent programme. It's on BBC One Colour on Sunday nights. Or you can get all the programmes so far on the BBC iPlayers. I'm bang up to date with this one. I watched the first 3 episodes last week while I was at my caravan, and I watched about half of last night's one so far. Last night, I didn't watch it at the time it was on, and it's just getting better and better. That is, we love Gentleman Jack. Gentleman Jack is in fact a lady, okay, who likes the ladies, and it's all about her and what she gets up to. And it was horrifying on episode 3, I think it was. This boy's dad. Okay, so Gentleman Jack, she has lots of places that she rents out to tenants, right? It's very old school. I think it's 1800s. This is 1800s, this is. Anyway, one of the families has got a really nasty dad who gets pissed all the time. He's always drunk, right? She's got a nasty dad. Anyway, let me just tell you this little bit about it. The dad eventually, the son of the dad, he's really nasty to him, to the whole family, because he's drunk all the time, ties him up on this chair and he leaves him there for a while. He's like, I'll kill you when I get out of this. I'll kill you. I will kill you. And all this, that and the other. Anyway, left it for a period of time. And eventually, they decide to let the dad go. He's got to be let go because he's got a meeting with Gentleman Jack, right, about the rent. And he's tied up in 2 ways. First of all, round his arm, so he's like this, can't move. And then there's another rope that ties around the chair. So the son goes to release him. And eventually he cuts the rope that's tied him to the chair. So now he can just about stand up. But the ropes are still round his arms. As soon as I let him go off the chair, the son let him go off the chair. He starts screaming and shouting, I'll get you, I'll get you, I'll get you. And the son's not having any of this. And he slits his throat. The dad falls to the ground and the pigs eat him. What a way to go. There you go. Because apparently pigs will eat anything. And he literally cut his throat, threw him on the ground with all the with all the slurry on the floor and that, and the pig started eating him. What a dreadful way to go. There's another dreadful way to go. Can I just read you this news story here? It's in the Sun this morning. Be careful where you go on holiday. In the Sun this morning, Kim Jong-un executed one of his generals by throwing him into a piranha-filled fish tank. Oh, my God. Piranhas. They're like that, ain't they? The North Korean man apparently used a tank that was built specifically as a new method of execution in his Pyongyang presidential palace. Why am I laughing at that? It's not funny. It's not. What a way to go. Eaten by piranhas. It don't take long, you know. They got nasty teeth, they have. Yeah, I mean, I used to have buck teeth. That's what I did. I had braces and all that on for years. Buck teeth. Piranhas have got even worse. That's it. Gone in the space of a few minutes. The aide is said to have been murdered for reportedly planning a coup. Spelt coup. A coup. Sources claim his arms and torso were slashed open with knives before he was dumped in the tank, the Star on Sunday reported. It has not been confirmed if he died from his injuries or if he was eaten alive by the animals. Dear me, the aquarium is said to be filled with hundreds of piranhas from Brazil. Some believe Kim Il-jong got the piranha execution method from the 1977 James Bond film The Spy Who Loved Me. We like James Bond. Da-da, da, 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 da. That's those circles, you know, at the beginning of the film. Just in case you were wondering that. Da 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 da. And then the blood goes down, doesn't it? The opening of James Bond films. Rumours suggest the tubby tyrant. You shouldn't be saying that about King Jong-un. Rumours suggest the tubby tyrant has been created. It's not my words. This is in the Sun. Has been creating several methods of execution at the Rongsong residence in a bid to scare other potential rebels. So you be very careful. Be very careful. There's another bit to this. The tyrant has become renowned for the creative ways in which he dispatches those who cross him. Agricultural official Huang Min was executed with, I like that word, execute. Use that in a sentence today and impress your friends. Executed. With an anti-aircraft gun after he challenged Kim's leadership in 2016. Oh Sang-hung, the Deputy Minister for Public Security, was accused of corruption in 2014 and was tied to a stake and then burnt alive with a flamethrower. I mean, it's a laugh a minute over there in North Korea, isn't it? You could. I'll tell you what would be a lot more interesting than Love Island or Big Brother, wouldn't it? Oh, that's what the BBC should do. They should be going to North Korea and making a series of this. So much more fun than seeing all the little pretty people sleeping and shagging with each other and rowing and swearing and fighting. No thanks. Let's watch some executions in North Korea. Turn over. Did you see how old-fashioned that was? Turn over, not turn over. Turn over. Get your fat, lazy asses up from the settee and go and turn the television over yourself rather than punching on that motor coal. Here's another one. Kim's aunt, Kim Ki-young, was poisoned after she protested the death of her husband in the same year. Poisoned, dear. Poisoned. Yes. Do you know, David Hamilton, yes, I did use that name. I did name drop then. David Hamilton, international radio and television star and continuity announcer on Thames Eleven. He told me once, never ever accept food from listeners or viewers. That's what he said. Anything arrives in the post, bin it straight away. It's true. You don't know, do you? You might be poisoned. Poisoned, as Kim Il-jong aunt Kim Hong-il was poisoned after she protested the death of her husband in the same year. He had his older brother, honestly, he had his older brother knocked off when he was in Malaysia using a deadly nerve agent. And a manager of a turtle farm in the country was shot when, well, that's a bit boring. Shooting? No, it's boring. I'm not even going to bother with that story. I won't even bother with that. Shooting is very, very boring. Come on, let's have some of these other things. What else have we got there? I'm quite liking the tank of piranhas, to be honest. What would be your... Here's a question for you. If you had to be executed, what would be your favourite method of execution? So you're in a room, King Im Jong is there, right? He's told you he's going to execute you. But he doesn't hate you. So as a favour, you get to choose your method of execution. What's it going to be, boys and girls? Come on, what's it going to be? Tell me what it's going to be. Dave, what's that? Is that a Radio 2 mug on your windowsill? Where is it? Yes, it is. You don't miss a trick, do you, Dave? That's why you're running a radio station, lovey. Because you don't miss a trick, dear. That's why you're running a radio station. Would you like to see it close up? Have you got one? Have you got a Radio 2 mug? One moment, please. Let me just take myself over there. Oh, I wonder if I've got something here. Hang on, let me just check. We'll do this all properly, Dave. Just a moment. I really I could get into trouble for this, but let's do it anyway. We don't worry about things like that. Just a minute now. Oh, hang on. Maybe it's not. I've got itchy nose again. Itchy nose. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Wrong one. 1 minute. Oh, maybe it's not the... Why did that play then? Oh, I see what I did. Do you know, I'm still using your brother's radio server player, version 2.59. Is that the latest one? Right, here we are. You ready? You ready, Dave? What is this? 88 to 91. Oh, no, I've done that wrong, didn't I? I said that wrong. You have to do that at the beginning, not at the end. 88 to 91 FM. This is Radio 2 from the BBC. Have you got that jingle, lovey? Well, you got to swap me for that, lovey. Have you got that jingle? Oh, dear. Good morning to John Aitken, who said, I knew the man who played the trumpet on the Bond music. Ba ba ba. Derek Watkins, he was a lovely man. Oh, I'm sure he was. He sounds like a nice man. And I had... actually, it was Dave Moses who's with us today who put me on to him. David Arnold. He wrote a lot of the music for James Bond. And he also wrote that piece of music that you all love. Da, 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 da. You know the bit of music right at the beginning? He wrote that, and I sent him a little email asking him permission. Dave said I should do this, and he's a very nice bloke, asking him permission to use the music and how much would it cost. And he said, just use it. He gave me permission to use it. Isn't that nice? And that's the music that you all know and love right at the beginning of the show today. Okay. Haven't you got this mug? Would you like to buy this from me, David? Now, how much would I be offered for this, my love? Hey, this Radio 2 mug, complete with Chris Reardon dust inside. I think there's dead flies in there. I think there's dead flies in there. How awful. Let's just scroll up a little bit here. Okay, you're just talking to each other there. That's cool. Dave hasn't got a mug. Adrian, do you think that execution by listening to Chris Reardon's show, it's like the death of 100,000 cuts until I make my lovely comments to the show? Do you think I should be a radio DJ? Or you can do it as well, Adrian. Anyone can set up a little YouTube channel and just chat away to the world. Look, this is your choice. This is your choice, Adrian, right? You can, and it'd be it's now very, very difficult to get a job on a radio station. There are hardly any radio DJ jobs now. What happened is big conglomerates have been buying up all the radio stations, okay? Each one having their own local presenters and things. Well, now what's happened is that a lot of the radio shows have started being networked. This started with Global and Capital Radio. And now all over the country, not everywhere, but a lot of places, you would get the Roman Kemp show, which is very good. He's very good. Young lad, bit mouthy, and it comes across. Not my sort of music, because it's far too new. But he's all right. He's all right. But at the expense of lots of local DJs losing their jobs. And I mean hundreds. Now, Heart are doing it. And Heart is another big state. They've been buying lots of stations, and they might buy, for example, I don't know, Bracknell FM, and then call it Heart Berkshire. You see what I mean? And they've all networked together, and now one person does all those stations. Very, very difficult to get into radio. But if you do, Adrian, you will be restricted over what you can say, what you can play, the length of time you can talk, and all that. And it was a long time ago, a very good friend of mine, Sean was his name. I can't think of his surname for a moment. Sean. He was on Talk Radio and LBC and various other stations. Sean Bolger, that was it, Sean Bolger. Years ago, when I started I was doing audio only. There was no video. And I said to him, I'd really like to perhaps get on the radio. And he said, to be honest, Chris, and he's done it. He said, you're far better off doing what you do, because you have complete freedom to do anything you want. I could sit on here and, I don't know, incite the Third World War or something like that, and I'd still be here. No one would take me off air. It's not something I would do. And he said, the trouble is, once you're in the radio, there are so many restrictions. So many restrictions. Like, for example, in the studio, a little light will come on for 20 seconds. That's the period in which you can talk, and you must finish on time. And all that business. But you can try and get onto radio. There are lots of community radio stations you could go on all over the country, crying out for people to be on there. Really? They've all got lots of slots and they have trouble sometimes filling them all, but there's community radio stations. But again, you wouldn't have the freedom you have if you were doing it on your own. Or you could do like me, do something like this, or do audio only. There's loads of places you can do it, do your own thing, no one to answer to or anything. I mean, which would you rather do? Even if you was to get onto normal radio, you'd laugh at the money. Community radio, not paid. Me doing this, not paid either. Unless you're Chris Tarrant or someone like that, then you can demand lots of money. But not like normal people like me and you see. That's the thing. Good. All right, so that's that. I heard that the Tory leadership thing has been cancelled. Is this correct? I saw a little post come up on my Facebook wall this morning informing me that the Tory leadership has been cancelled due to the entire party now checking into a rehab clinic. Oh, Theresa May, dear me. I bet she's been sitting there smoking one of them funny cigarettes, injecting herself before she comes. Or mind you, she's got the diabetes. I'm not joking about that. I meant with drugs. Perhaps that's what went wrong. Did she run out of injections? I don't know. Oh, poor old Michael Gove. Oh, please. This is ridiculous. Bringing up something he did 20 years ago when he was a lad. I mean, how many... I tell you what is the funniest thing about this, although it's not, I'm not finding it amusing at all, to be honest. The witch hunt that's going on to Michael Gove for something what he did when he was a lad over 20 years ago. Absolutely ridiculous. Who is of an age, who is over 45, and can honestly say they do all the things they used to do when they were a young person? Anyone out there? No, I didn't think so. Back in the 90s, in the early 90s, I was out almost every night off my head. I'm telling you that now. Oh, I'll have to check in as well, will I? Absolutely ridiculous. It's like, a lot of people in their early years, they finish the school and then they discover pubs. And then they get drunk every night. I used to go to a pub. It lasted for about 6 months for me when I was about 23. I was living in Wandsworth and I used to go to this pub over the road from me called the Jolly Gardeners. And I used to have my dinner and I'd go in there and get absolutely paralytic. Well, perhaps not paralytic, but very, very drunk, where I'd have trouble crossing the road. Dangerous, really, when you think about it. In fact, in this particularly straight pub, there was a lad in there who chatted me up once, who I quite liked, but I didn't know what to do about it, because I was new then. I was newly gay. I was just had my gay birth at that point. But nevertheless, I used to do that and get drunk and then crawl home and go to bed with a tray next to next to the bed just in case, just in case. Although that never happened, never seemed to happen. And I did that for 6 months, and then I stopped, and I never drunk since. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. All right, so what if it was like what do you call it now? Legal, Justice Secretary. Okay, so what if he was Justice Secretary 20 years after the incident? Come on. Ridiculous. And it's like a witch hunt. And the whole joke of it is, I know lots of people in this media, DJs, singers, not me. I did go through that little period in my life. As I say, early 90s, came out of it. I'm fine now, don't do anything at all. Right? But all these young media types who are interviewing, I thought you lot are out every bloody weekend doing exactly the same thing. Absolutely ridiculous. I just get sick of people bringing up people's pasts all the time. No one wants to move forward, do they? They bring up people's pasts all the time. And I think it is ludicrous the way they've hounded him on this thing. And he's done completely the right thing. A bit like George Michael. Do you remember George Michael? He ran circles around these ghastly newspapers. That time he was caught in a public toilet, trying to chat up other men in a public toilet. What a dreadful thing that is, dear. God's sake, you can't even go and have a wee in private anymore, can you? Anyway, so he got caught in there by the police. They had him on the telly, and he said, well, what do you have to say? And he said, well, what have I done wrong? I've done nothing wrong. He said, I didn't attack anyone. I was simply meeting people in there, as what happens. And that was it. Once he'd said it, the papers had nothing on him. I absolutely hate the way the newspapers, and it has to be said on the television as well, the aggressive interviewing that I see going on the televisions, on the television a lot of the time, it leaves me I hate it. I can't bear it. or you got that cold as ice cow on Sky News, Kay Burley. I mean, who did she sleep with to get to the top like that? God's sake, I don't watch her. I mean, I don't know what she's like now. I haven't watched her for years. I can't bear her. I heard her she was on LBC for a little while. She was useless on there. Old Steve Allen, who is king or queen of talk shows of all time. Steve Allen was before or after her, I can't remember. And they used to meet in the middle, for the changeover thing. And he would try and talk to her, but it just wouldn't flow back to him. It's hilarious watching it. And I could hear him trying to get her to talk. And yes, I suppose so. Just completely pointless. Pointless. Morning to Peter Lake, who likes the jacket. Thank you, Peter. You're very kind. John lives across the road from the Cohen in Earls Court. I was there every night, and then Brompton's across the road. Yeah, well, I used to DJ, as you know, John, in Harpo's. That was a good job. Harpo's in Earls Court. And it was that job that came along which pulled me into giving up my job at BT as British Telecom engineer. Yeah. Dave. Let's not forget David Cameron had an interesting time with a pig. Oh, I'd pay to see the video of that. I really would. Adrian never had this period of his life when he got drunk or drunk alcohol or any forms of drugs. My body is one hell of a temple. Well, looking at you sitting there's a lot of people inside it, dear. Or you wish there was. It has to be looked after. John says, I tried to listen to Amanda Holden on Heart Radio last week. Not for me. And I'm missing Toby Answers at this time. He's in Ibiza again. Yes, John, I don't listen to the radio anymore. It doesn't entertain me. Tony Blackburn was the last person to... You see, I'm old school. Tony Blackburn, Dave Lee Travis. We used to have all these people on Radio 1 in the morning when we were in the Cub Scouts. Cubs, do your best. But I don't really listen to music radio at all anymore. Amanda Holden, I can't comment because I haven't heard her. Toby, well, I worked with him at Liberty Radio. He was very, very nice bloke to me. Always had a little bit of a laugh and a chat in the mornings with Toby. Off air, He took over from me, you see. I used to do 2 a.m. till 6:30 a.m. Yeah, yes, graveyard shift. I wasn't good enough for daytimes. I did 2 till 6:30 in the morning, and Toby would come on at 6:30. straight after me. And he'd come in, we'd have a little chin wag about stuff. Yeah, nice man. Good morning to Patrick Devlin. Good morning to you, who says, down with crap mainstream media. Absolutely. No one believes anything. You know, say what you will about Donald Trump. When he goes on about fake news, I think he's got something right there. I think he's telling us something that we now realise. I think a lot of it's fake news. Or that the media tell you what sort of direction they want you to be in. They really do. Dave, who would you vote for to lead? Are you a Boris man? No, I'm not really, to be honest. I would have actually gone with Michael Gove, I think, really, because but although I don't know if that would be the right thing or not, because he did this speech a couple of months ago now, which is available on YouTube, where he absolutely laid into the other side. There are people who are very good at doing speeches. Whether or not that makes them a good leader or not, I don't know. But I would have gone with Gove or one of the ladies. I can't remember which one now. You see, I don't know. No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure who I'd go with. Not sure. I quite like Gove. Boris, I think it's a bit of a wild cannon. I'm not sure. Not sure about him at all. Not sure about him at all. Paul and Lou, what do you think about BBC local radio? BBC West. What's BBC WM? What is that? Is that West Midlands? I'm just assuming that's West Midlands for some reason. It's rubbish now. They just have missing dogs and what's your favourite cake and traffic reports 3 weeks old. Is that right? There is BBC Lincolnshire, which I have had on before. Which, I mean, it's all right. You know, BBC Radio London has a real wide, diverse programmes on there. There's all sorts of stuff on there. Which is pretty good. You pick and choose. I quite like the diversity of different programmes on a radio station, which BBC local radio has. That they don't have that on independent local radio. It's like the same 30 records churned over, and the presenters say the same thing. They don't have any sort of real scope in doing what they do. They've got to stick to a strict format with independent local radio, which I don't think so much they have to do at the BBC. My favourite, of course, don't need to tell you, Steve Allen as a talk show host, Clive Ball. I also like, who's the bloke in the morning? Nick in the morning. Can't remember his surname now. As I say, I've told you before, I used to like Nick Abbot a lot, but he just goes on and on about Brexit. And I have to say, I heard Nick Abbot on Saturday night this week, I think it was, and I was really disappointed with him. There was a bloke who rung up, and he, after the conversation, I can't remember what it was about, he said, do you mind if I've given a shout out to my mum? Right? And Nick Abbot, well, you want to give a shout out to your mum? Well, I suppose you give a shout. And anyone's going on about that. And then the conversation came back to what they were talking about. And at the end of it, something like, I can't understand why do you want to give a shout out to your mum or something like that? And then the bloke said that she died and started crying. Right? There was no compassion from Nick whatsoever. I heard if I do this, like, listen, can you hear that? Right? That's a fader going down. And as soon as the bloke said that, I heard the fader go down. And he said, well, this is not really the right place to do shouts out to people who are not longer with us anymore. And the bloke was clearly upset. I was very, very disappointed with that. I don't know if any of you heard that. The bloke was crying his eyes out, and there was no compassion from Nick whatsoever. Awful. Dave, if you're still with us, try and find that. That would be Nick Abbott's show on Saturday night. Round about, I think it was either Saturday or Sunday. Sorry, it was either Saturday or Friday. If it was Saturday, it would be between 11:30 p.m. and 12:30 a.m. Okay, if it was Saturday. If it was Friday, it would be between 10 past midnight and 10 past 1. I think it was on Saturday. The bloke cried and he was clearly upset. And he said, well, I think it's inappropriate place to do shout outs to people who are no longer with their to your mother. Oh, it was awful. And he just cut him off. Nah. And my thoughts about him went from, if it was on a scale of 100, down to 5. Not impressed with that at all. Very, very disappointed with the way that call was handled. For God's sake, you know. Oh, it was awful to hear. Awful. Very, very badly handled call. Morning to Peter Lake, who says it's a miserable day in Woodall Spa. Actually chucking it down. Did you have a nice weekend? Yes, I did. Thank you very much, Peter. We've been chatting about my weekend here. A very nice weekend. Good morning to Dominique Hessler. Morning, Dominique. Long time no see. Hope you're having a nice time, darling, okay? Nick Ferrari was the other bloke I listened to on LBC. I always listen to the podcast because I'm not around at that time of the day, unfortunately. Patrick, Chris doesn't like talking about politics. Go for it. No, I don't. You've got to be intelligent to talk about these things, Pat. That's my cousin, incidentally, Patrick. Probably in New Zealand. I'm not sure where you are at the moment. He's in New Zealand. And I do think you need to be pretty intelligent. Of course, I have a view the same as you do. We all have views on different things. But, you know, you got to know what you're talking about, all right? Was that where I met you, John, at Harpo's? Yeah, well, karaoke was popular. It was a good laugh, wasn't it? Paul and Lou, if I was anybody's after 15 pints of bitter 20 years ago. Well, is that right? Oh, dear. All right, excellent, gang. Now, what else am I doing? Oh, yes, a couple of disasters this weekend. First of all, at church. Right? So, some hymns are quite long. If you do a long hymn at the beginning, okay, and the little bell's gone and the priest's come out and he gets to his position and we're at verse 3 and there's 8 verses, what I used to do was stop when he was in position. So, Sunday comes, it was, if you know the hymn, da 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 da, was Come Holy Ghost, because it was Pentecost, you see. So a priest's come out, he's walking round with the altar service, boys and girls, altar service, walking round, come through the minute, and at verse 3, he's got into position. There are 7 verses. Right, so I thought, well, I'll do one more. And watch him. Da 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 da. And I play a long note when it's due to finish, so that people know it's finished. Anyway, I look down, he's going like this, because he's right down there, and I'm up at the back. You can't see me, I'm kind of hidden away at the back, and he's right down there. And he's going like that, and I'm like, oh, okay. Right, so I've done 4 verses. The only thing is, I've stopped now. In my head, I've stopped. So I can carry on, no problem. But I can't remember how many verses we've done. So, I knew it was maybe there's another one. And I'm slowing down. Then he's looked back up at me and he's gone like that. I thought, well, there must be another one. So I tried to stop before I was due to stop. So that was number 1 disaster. Number 2 disaster. Yesterday afternoon, I was making my campfire stew. As you know, a very spicy thing I do in the slow cooker, which includes tinned tomatoes, chopped up celery, chopped up carrots, chopped up mushrooms, chopped up onions, some of Frank's hot sauce, some Worcestershire sauce, some garlic and some chilies, and some corn cubes. So after church, after my dinner, I went over to Aldi and bought the ingredients, checked in the cupboards what I had, and I've got some corn cubes. I'm pretty sure I've got some of those in the freezer, and I looked at everything else. Oh no, need that. So I've made it all. And you don't put the corn cubes in till right at the end, so it wouldn't be in your mind. Gone to Aldi, come back, put all the stuff in there, switched it on. Gone back out to the slow cooker. That would be about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Gone back out to the slow cooker at 11 p.m. at night. Right, I put the corn cubes in. No corn cubes. Oh, no. Thought, I can't believe it. And there's nowhere to buy them from at 11 o'clock at night. And you don't really want that slow cooker left on, for another 9 hours before the shops open again. So what I'm going to do with that is just use it as like a sauce on rice or maybe spaghetti, something like that. Might be an idea to do. Well, I'll have to do that now. That's the only thing. You can't add the corn sort of weeks after it. That's disaster number 2. Disaster number 3, now, isn't very pleasant, boys and girls. It's not as bad as perhaps you think it's going to be, so I'll just tell you it as it is. So I've gone up to the swimming pool last night, okay? And in the swimming pool, one of the pool boys, no, they're more important than pool boys. I don't know what you'd call them. Workers. They do. On a Sunday night, there's only one of them there, okay? And he looks after the gym. And it was, what's his name? It was Sam last night. Nice looking lad, tall. And he was in the men's dressing room. And I've got up there. I've just walked up there, 25 minutes. Sorry, I've just cycled up there. And, I must go to the toilet. And he's there. Now, I hate using the toilet if there are people. I like to sneak into a toilet unnoticed. Like a snake. So I couldn't sneak into the toilet because he was standing there. So I went into the toilet, closed the door. And without looking, I just went. I just went to the toilet. That's it. I'm just about to flush the chain. And I realised that the water of the toilet was already at the top. And I thought, oh my God. And I also know that Sam is just outside the door doing some cleaning and window cleaning and mirror cleaning and all that business. Right? And I look down and there it is, floating with the toilet paper. I thought, oh no. If he wasn't there, I could just quickly nip out and leave it. Couldn't I? And then come back later. Hopefully the water would have gone down. Perhaps someone used it before me some time ago. Sometimes with a blockage, if you leave it, then the water will slowly go down, won't it? And at that point, then you can flush it again. Not on this occasion, dear. So I said, oh, God, how long am I going to have to sit here and wait? Anyway, I've waited about a minute and that water ain't budging. So I thought, oh, Christ. Well, just have to kind of deal with this as it is. Morning to Martin Edwards. What time is this, Martin? Come on. 5 to 10, dear. Chop, chop. Morning, Dominic's has started sleeping better. Not up at 4 o'clock any morning. Good. I'm glad to hear that, Dominic. It's nothing worse than not being able to sleep, is there? Right, I'll carry on. Okay, so I've opened the door. I said, Sam. I said, now listen, the toilet, I've had a little accident. He said, oh. I said, no, it's not like that. Not like that. I said, basically, I've used the toilet and I didn't realise that the water was up to the top before I even used it. So I can't flush it. But I can't let you in there. Anyway, he took a step forward. I said, no, I'm sorry, Sam. I can't let you in there. I cannot let you in that toilet now. I said, leave it for a while. I'll close the door, leave it for a while, and I'll come back in half an hour. And hopefully by then it will have gone down and I'll flush it. He said, it's not a problem, honestly. I said, it is. Please, I'm really, really embarrassed now. God. So embarrassed. So, of course, this thing is floating away and I can't flush the blooming chain. Awful. Dave says, Barry Manilow's behind has the expression on his face like he's just come back from the toilet after a very satisfying dump. He does, doesn't he? Oh, God. Oh, John, it's not funny. It's not funny. So I've gone to the swimming pool and all I can think about is that toilet that wouldn't flush. You should, I wouldn't mind. If you flushed it and then the water came up, but I obviously didn't check first that the water was at the top. It's like those American toilets. Oh, I can't bear them. They're like that, ain't they? The water's halfway up there and it's swimming around. Oh, God. Oh dear. Paul Gallagher, morning Paul. He's on the toilet listening to all this and hoping it will flush away now. Oh, so I went in and had my swim. Done. What did I do? I did 52 lengths yesterday. 52 because I literally ran out of time because of the conversation I had in the toilet. And they close at 9 o'clock. I like to get out about 8:45 because whoever's in charge, they want to go home. Do you know what I mean? Oh, there's some bloody horrible people. And you see them in pubs as well. The bar staff have been working all night long. And, time is time. And they want to go home. And, I've got 20 minutes. And they sit there with a bloody pint. I've got 20 minutes. I got 20 minutes. When you've been standing there for 3.5 hours, or no, bar staff work a lot harder than me. They might have been in there 8 hours, 9 hours, some of them longer than that. They want to go home, drink a drink and piss off. It's just not, no one thinks of anyone else. Anyway, at the swimming pool, certainly. So they finish at 9. I like to be out of that pool at about 8:45, give them time to tidy up, and then they can be out the door pretty quick themselves. So I got out of the pool, and I've had my shower, and then before I've even got dressed, I've got this little micro towel around my waist. I just want you to close your eyes now, boys and girls, and picture that. Chris Reardon. You might have seen it, John, in another venue, but Chris Reardon walking around with a tiny little towel around his waist. That's kind of doing it for me. That is it doing it for you? Maureen, is that doing it for you? Well, oh, by the way, Maureen, are you better? You had a bit of a bad chest last week, didn't you? I was told on Friday. I'm sorry, I meant to ask you earlier. I hope you're feeling better, Maureen. Anyway, so there I am, walking around. So I've got this little towel. I've gone straight to the toilet. I'll see if it flushes now. And I've gone in there. Nothing floating around. Toilet looks completely normal. Not only that, there's some of that blue stuff that someone's put around the side. I thought, oh no. He's gone in and sorted it out. And do you know what I mean? He's seen my... Oh. And... I suppose to them it's just a job and it doesn't make any difference, but I'm not a person to be embarrassed. I'm really not. I don't get embarrassed. But I was embarrassed by this. The thought that someone had gone in there while I was doing my swim. I've come out to flush a chain, but someone else has sorted it out. And there can only be one person, Sam. Oh, no. Oh, what a horrendous day. So what with that? With that and the running out of the corn cubes and the finishing too early of the hymn at church, what a disastrous day it was yesterday. On the upside of things, I watched some fantastic telly. I've already told you, Gentleman Jack. Another excellent programme I've discovered, which I think has finished now. It's available on the BBC iPlayer colour. It's called Summer of Rockets. Summer of Rockets. Now this is about a bloke, an inventor, okay? An inventor. And he's got this particular invention, a pager, beep, 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 beep. They look nothing. They actually look like vibrators, these pagers. He's got, look it up, Summer of Rockets it's called. And he gets involved in a group of people who say they are MI5, okay? Who want him to spy on a house. Except the people he's spying on get wind that he's watching them, and they tell him that the people that he's working for are in fact Russian enemies. So he's caught in the middle of them. He thinks they are the Russians, and he thinks they are the Russians. And he's trying to work out who it is. And I'm on episode 4 now, and I cannot work it out. It's a really good program if you like spy things set around 1958, 1959. There's some beautiful ladies on there on that program. I've got to tell you, some really, really lovely ladies. And one of the ladies, her son has disappeared, and she's trying to find her son. And eventually she books into this vegetarian hotel, which was an unusual. I suppose there's quite a few of those now, is there? Vegetarian hotels, I don't know. And she books into this vegetarian hotel because she finds out that her son was a vegetarian. And she's very upset, looking around. She's gone a little bit mad in the head, I think, looking for her son, as you would do if your child had disappeared. And she goes down into this ironing room and finds this boy, and she's convinced it's her son. But he says, "No, you're mistaken, madam. It's not me." So that's a good one. Summer of Rockets on BBC iPlayer. I haven't watched Killing Eve yet. I've still got the first episode of that new series to watch. And, of course, Casualty, which I've watched, which there's a horrible man in there at the moment. One of those time and motion people, Very, very important. Idiot walking around with a clipboard. You know the sort, don't you? Oh, yeah. Oh, it's so important. And he's mouthy. He's an horrible bloke, he is. And he's upsetting our Connie Beecham. Leave Connie alone, dear. Dreadful man. So that's Casualty. All of this stuff is on the BBC iPlayer or BBC One Colour. It's interestingly, actually, I think the BBC should be pleased that I'm watching their channel, because apparently the average age of BBC One viewers is 65. Did you know that? These kids don't know what they're missing with all this good stuff here. I was at Netflix. I was at Amazon Prime. I don't know how to watch BBC One. Is there a button on here? Yes, it says number 1 on it. Unless you've got a Toshiba television like I have at the Caravan, where the channels are all over the place and I can't sort them out, dear. Very, very complex. So there's some good stuff to watch there. Yeah, the average age of BBC One viewers is 65. Well, I'm only 56, so they should be grateful for me watching, for bringing down the average. God knows at what age it would be if I wasn't watching. They should be grateful for me for bringing down the average age of their television viewing. Oh, yes. John, did you watch The Virtues? What a brilliant and emotional programme. I was a mess. No, don't even know about it, I'm afraid. Don't even know about that one. Don't even know that one, John. What side is that on, mate? Adrian Richardson, I am sorry, but that image of you walking around an extremely small tower around your extremely extreme waist is starting to be a nightmare. And also worrying thoughts. What, you're hanging around the toilet? 40. My God, I'm shocked, Chris. Who's hanging around toilets at 40? Excuse me. Don't need to hang around toilets. Used to go to trade. John hated last orders at bars I worked in. We used to say, we've had your money, you've had your drinks, now piss off. Oh, yeah, but it's how you do it, John. It's how you do it. If you are an elderly landlady, okay, who is a character, then you can certainly come down the stairs. I used to work, she's no longer with us, unfortunately, for a lovely lady. A really, really lovely lady at a pub called The Stag in Battersea. Gosh, her name eludes me for a moment. Oh, gosh. The name will come to me as soon as I've finished. It's been some years since, of course, I worked with her. But anyway, and she was a larger-than-life character, okay? So I'd go and set up my equipment in a pub. I literally set it up on a table in front of a few of the chairs, and I would DJ, and then she would come down the stairs, the hair, the makeup, the outfits, and Pam Sinclair, that was her name, Pam Sinclair, wonderful woman. And at the end of the night, come on, piss off now, get out, come on, get out. If you're a character, you can do it, okay? If you're some stuck-up millennial in a bloody suit, you can't, because people just look at you and they think, arsehole. That's what they think. Again, there was another lady, lovely lady, actually, I worked with, Mary Murphy, a place called the Golden Lion in Camden. Now, she didn't do that. She was kind of part of the gang, if you see what I mean. But she was a proper character. And again, she'd come down the stairs around about 10:30 and sit at the bar with the customers and get drunk. Or drink. Just drink. They're the people that know how to run pubs. Not someone that's come out of university. Oh, well, this is a money-making exercise. Well, yes, of course, it's got to make money to run. But when your only thoughts are how much money can I make through doing the absolute least work possible. I think that's when you don't make much money at all. You've got to get down there with them so you can do it. Adrian, when I worked in London bars, I tried not to serve the people who were hardest to get out of the pub. And when I didn't get served, we were closed at the bar. We used to tell them why. They really upset. But sometimes, after a 15-hour day, you're absolutely right. You don't want to stay there and put up with the crap that comes out of some of these people's minds. No one thinks of the bar staff, Oh, you're taking... If you go up to the pub, say the pub's open till 11. Say the pub's open till... You go up at 2 minutes to 11. Can I have a pint of lager, please? Nah, piss off. Go away, dear. No, you're taking the mick. You're taking the mick. These people have got to go home. Oh, yeah, but I want another... what about them? Think of someone else for a change instead of yourself. Ignorance, that's what it is. John, I was still on Channel 4, that programme. I don't know that programme, John, to be honest. Good morning to Mike Reese Ponto. Good morning to you. Watched Chernobyl on Saturday night. Horrifying seeing what happened there in 1986. Yes, that's... is that on Sky? I think that's on Sky, isn't it? I do believe that's on Sky. Chernobyl, which I don't get, although I found a site 123 Movies which you can log on and watch it, but these pop-ups keep annoying me, and so I kind of watched about 20 minutes of it and then it stopped. But if it's on Sky, I can't get that. Perhaps it'll be on the Netflix soon or something like that, or it might be on... I haven't got Amazon Prime either, so you can't just keep signing up to all these endless... There's a new one now, isn't it? Disney. The Disney streaming service is available now. Another £10 a month. Watch out for those outgoings that you get each month. Be careful what you're subscribing to, because all these add up quite substantially. You can spend hundreds of pounds a month on all these various Disney subscriptions. Most of them sort of something to do with technology, either TV or broadband or... stuff like that all the time. Not so much, I don't suppose. Do any of you have magazine subscriptions? Does anyone have those anymore? Oh, excuse me. Anyone have magazine subscriptions anymore? Or have they kind of gone out the window, haven't they? I don't know anyone that reads, really. I don't read myself. I tried to read, but I pick up the book and I thought, oh my God, I can't be bothered with all that. And I just put it aside again. Shame, really, isn't it? My mother used to read a lot. Oh, she had a whole bookcase. She belonged to a book club. Proper hardback books, which we threw away when we lost our parents. Me and my sister, we threw a lot of stuff away or gave it to a charity shop. But she had a whole bookcase full of these books in beautifully bound in like red hardback books. Lovely they were. Chernobyl is on Sky Atlantic on Now TV. You can sign up for a 7-day free trial and then cancel it. What is that Now TV? Oh, that's a box. Oh, no, I think I've got that as an app. Would I have that as an app on my telly? Or do you need a box? I think I've got that as an app, Now TV. Oh, hang on a minute. How much is it then? Now TV. I'm going to see how much that is. Talk amongst yourselves for a moment, please. Let's have a look. What's the time? 10:10? We've been here over an hour, dear. Netflix. No, I've got Netflix, Michael. I've got Netflix. That's all right. Hang on. Was it Now TV? How much is this? How much is it? Watch Now TV now. Watch TV shows online. There it is. Now TV. Buy now. Here we are. Buy now. One moment, please. Buy now. Okay, is it? Entertainment Pass. £8. Oh, £8 a month. Is that all? The films are $11.99. I bet the sports is dear. And how much is the sports? Oh, $5.99. Oh, all these things are separate, are they? So what's on the entertainment pass? Hang on a minute. Entertainment now. Find out more. One moment, please. What channels? 300 box sets. All the best TV channels. Oh, Atlantic is on there. Discovery and all those. You see... I don't really want to sign up to something for one programme, you know what I mean? And I'm not a binge watcher either, Mike. Now TV, it's an app on Smum. I bet it's on my TV. I bet it's actually on the TV. I just haven't looked for it. Thank you. John reads lots of books. Can't use a Kindle. I love to turn a page. Yeah, me too. Oh, it was voted Barman of the Year in 1993. Excuse me, I was voted DJ of the Year several years running. I might have the certificates here somewhere. Let's see. Have I got them here? No, they're not here. They're in a cupboard. Boys DJ of the Year I got. QX DJ of the Year. I won all those. Cool, my hand was half worn out once I finished filling out those forms, I tell you. All right, come on, let's do today's birthdays. I'll do yesterday's as well. Because we weren't here yesterday, were we? All right. Happy birthday on this, what is it? Monday, the 10th of June, 2019 to Shannon Baxter. Good morning, Shannon. 20 young years old today. Happy birthday, Shannon. Charlotte Messiter. Good morning, Charlotte. Happy birthday to you. Darren Tempest Burtonshaw. A very good morning to you, Darren. And a happy birthday on this Monday. Sunday's birthdays, we'll do those as well. As I say, as we weren't here yesterday. But Sunday's birthday, Sunday the 9th of June, to DJ Djnyamafood Di Entertainer. I'm not quite sure how to say that long word, but happy birthday. He was 44 years old yesterday. Peter Jays was a young 52 yesterday. Good morning. Joe Lai Tobin's birthday yesterday. Happy birthday to you. Judy White was 56 years old yesterday. And David Law's birthday as well yesterday. So happy birthday, boys and girls. Here, oh, where's my song? Where's my song? There it is. Here it is. 1 minute. Blah, blah. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, gang. John, were you ever on the cover of Boys? No, never. I wasn't, actually. I've never, ever been on the cover of Boys. I don't lick enough bums for that, I'm afraid. Oh, where are you? Yeah, really well. Any chance of getting on the cup? No, I won't do any of that. I don't do arsehole licking, I'm afraid. Ever. Never. Thank you, John. And Joanna. Joanna, come on. I know you don't put things like that in your ears when I start singing. Listen, have a lovely day, boys and girls. Tonight, I'll be hosting karaoke. That's at Central Station Bar, 7:30 until 11 o'clock, okay? 7:30 to 11 o'clock for Monday night karaoke, which we'll stream as well from 7:30 tonight. That's it for the show today. Thanks ever so much for joining us, and I'll see you again very soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.